Hello everybody, Raptor King of the West here, and today we are back in Minecraft Dinosaurs, and today I'm going to do a little bit of rambling before we get to the new enclosure that we're going to be building, because I did a little bit of stuff off camera, okay? Now, if we look at my inventory, let me put my armor back on. If we look at my inventory, this is now back at full durability. I died not in lava, but there was like lava around. Also, I've been working on this path. I think it's coming along well. I still want to put a fence, or like parts of a fence on the side, and I feel like it could use some work. Especially, I do want to set some stairs and slabs in there to get just like shaping. I did some stuff with the trees over here, and I like the idea, because basically, these trees would be getting hit, which means a bunch of leaves would be getting knocked off, so you would see the branches. And I like the idea. I really like the idea. I think this one goes too far out. That one doesn't look right. This one is not enough, almost. Like, it needs more. But I'm not sure how I'm going to do that super effectively yet. So, gonna work on that. If you guys have any ideas, let me know in the comments below. And then, where did I want to go next? Because I'm saving some really exciting news. Right, okay. We're out of name tags. I tried to find name tags. That was actually what I was doing off camera. I was like, oh, bastions of name tags, nether fortresses of name tags. I checked both of those structures. If we actually... I'm not gonna teleport, but I'm showing you guys. I found a new bastion, which I looted. At least... Oh, that's... Wait! That's useful, right? Okay, hold on. Does that not do the math for the 8 blocks in the nether equals 1 block in the overworld? If that does the math for the 8 blocks in the nether, 1 block in the overworld, that's going to be really useful for nether highways and stuff. I got some more chickens in the containment thing there, so that should have slightly better rates. I don't know. Keep having to eat the chicken because I have no food. But yeah, we have no name tags. I wanted to name our T-Rex today. I was gonna find like a queen's name and give it to our Tyrannosaurus Rex. Didn't end up doing that. Didn't end up finding. Well, I found some names to work with, but we don't have any name tags. Now, here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna grab these, and I'm gonna grab this. I'm gonna grab this. Okay. And I'm gonna grab this. I am so excited that I found this. Okay. Because these are dupable. I'm gonna need so many diamonds long term, but as long as I have one of these, then we can upgrade all of our stuff. With a scarab gem. Okay, also I found ancient debris in those bastion chests. Minor sub-note, because we're not going to be doing ancient... Like, we're not doing netherite. But I guess that means we can use the, netherite blocks as building blocks if I just... Oh, goodness me. If I get a bunch of, like, netherite ingots, could do that. How do I make a smithing table? There we go. 4 wood, 2 iron. Not bad. There we go. Okay. Smithing table, smithing table. Hold on, just while I have a chance here. Yep, everything's working. Cool, cool. Okay. Smithing table, which I don't have anywhere to put this. would she want it? Does Dr. Vine want a smithing table? Dr. Vine could use a smithing table. You know what? Dr. Vine, how do you feel about that? I think Dr. Vine likes it. Oh! Oh! 1861. What is... Can I see a netherite pickaxe? Is that full? No, I can't. Ah, that is nice, though. I am 7 attack damage. That's better than our sword. So, to be fair, so is a diamond sword, but... I only have one more scarab gem, and I want to use it to tame the T-Rex. Y'all are not going to be happy when we do that. Especially if I mess it up. I don't want to mess up taming the T-Rex, too. It's, to tame, like, large carnivores, you need the scarab gem. And you need to get it down to 1 HP. Terrifying to do. Because, like, one misclick, and you don't have a dinosaur anymore. You know, it's done. Is the sword better for this? The sword is better for this. So, we are going to do that eventually. We are going to tame our T-Rex and stuff. I'm going to have to start going mining again for biofossils. Which, I mean, having spare DNA is not bad anyway. But mainly it'll be for scarab gems. Can I see what these drop? Yeah. No, that's still broken. I wanted to see scarab gem drop rates. That's what I can craft with the scarab gem. Apparently I can use it to partially repair a helmet. I don't know why I would do that. Yeah, we get all of this. No armor? Aw. Really? Alright, we might, yeah, okay. That's fine. That's fine. We'll do netherite armor. Okay, we will do netherite, I guess. These have a very low drop rate, though. That's the point I'm trying to get to. The achievement is called winning the lottery. We do have 2, which is nice. But I have now used one of them. I'm going to enchant this so much. Yeah, we only have one of them now. Where is my string? I'm going to enchant the heck out of this pickaxe. So we're getting mending on it. We're getting... Can I get paleontology and archaeology 3 on the same tool? Are those mutually exclusive? I don't know if they're mutually exclusive, because both achievements exist. Or not achievements. I have to alt-click. There we go. Archaeology 3, Paleontology 3. Now, these do have 2 other stages, to my knowledge. I don't know if they're mutually exclusive or not, because Paleontology... They should be able to work in tandem, right? In theory? Or am I gonna need 2 pickaxes? I might need 2 pickaxes. Anyway, I'm gonna get a lot of scaffolding. And the reason is not going to make sense for a hot couple of seconds here. And me telling you why I'm getting it is not going to help my case. I'm going to look crazy for a few seconds here. We're doing the Mosasaurus enclosure. Yeah, we're finally doing the Mosasaurus. I don't know why I waited so long to reveal that. The Mosasaurus should probably be in the thumbnail, all things considered. Just like... I would do that anyway, but also it's a good idea to have something cool in the thumbnail. So, let's get down to... why are there items back here? Egg. Oh, it was 2 eggs. Why do I have planks? Or the stairs, why do I have those? Did I, like... These aren't in the build anywhere. Why do I have these? Did I go in this chest? I did go in this chest. Okay, why are those there? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, now we have a smithing template. So all I need is a bunch of scarab gems. And we can fully upgrade our gear. Hopefully I don't need 2 pickaxes. Because then that means I actually need 3 pickaxes, right? One for paleontology, one for archaeology, and one for silk touch. That would suck. I don't even want a pickaxe for silk touch, but like I know that obviously can't be on my fortune pickaxe. So I'm hoping that paleontology and archaeology can go on the same pickaxe, because paleontology gets you more fossils, and archaeology gets you more of the archaeology stuff. Unsurprisingly, that should make sense to just about everybody. It's night, so I shouldn't do this now. I have to run all the way. I'm gonna run all the way back up. But yeah, no, so archaeology gets you more archaeology stuff. All that makes sense. I'm worried that they are mutually exclusive, because right now in the current version, you have, like, you break the same block. You break a fossil ore to get both of them. To be fair, if I postpone putting archaeology on a pickaxe for long enough, I might not have to worry about, because I'm going to explain why I want archaeology on a pickaxe when there is so little archaeology stuff in the mod. If you guys go to the Fossil and Archaeology YouTube channel, or their Twitter for some reason, I don't know why you would go there. They might have a Blue Sky. I don't actually know all their social media channels. I mainly just follow them here on YouTube. Especially because they've, like, started becoming a bit more active on YouTube, posting some of the teasers that they're also posting elsewhere. They showed some Greek marble statues that were, like, in the style of fossils and archaeology. And they talked about how they're gonna be working on an archaeology update. That's why I want archaeology on the pickaxe. But it is possible that then they just change the archaeology to not work from the... I need wheat, because I'm hungry. They might change the archaeology to work from the fossil blocks to be their own thing instead. And if that's the case, I can have them both on the same pickaxe, no problems. Or if they change it to be under Minecraft's other archaeology system with the brush, which we should have, yeah. If they change it to be that way, and the archaeology system primarily functions that way instead, then again, I don't need to worry about getting archaeology on my pickaxe, which is the only thing I think it currently... I can alt-click to... Yeah, okay, this doesn't tell me what... Goes on all the tools. I don't know why I need Archaeology 3 on a hoe. I don't know what that's gonna do for me. But, no, but like, maybe they change that an enchantment to go onto the brush, and it becomes more of a thing where you go and you sift the sand, which I honestly think they could do for both. They could do for both archaeology and paleontology, is add a couple of those things to the loot table. I think it would work maybe a little bit better for archaeology, just because most fossils are found in, like, they're old enough that they're in sedimentary rock, not just loose sediment. But, you know, this is a Minecraft mod. They're not doing accuracy 100% of the time. To be fair, this mod does a great job at being accurate to actual science, but they're allowed to take creative liberties. Now, here's where I want this enclosure. This shovel is gonna break. It's very much so gonna break. I should have blocked this off while I was up there. Here, where's my shift key? Okay, here we go. All the way up. I'm just gonna block this off real quick. That'll work. Because obviously I need to dig out down here. I want it at the bottom of this waterfall. I think that that is super cool. This also, I'm not going to worry about the window pane or anything so that people can see in. I think that that's a concern for future me to worry about. I keep giving future me a lot of tests. One day, I'm going to regret that. But I know that it was there already. There's another arrow there. Why are there arrows? There's a sheep. I don't see a skeleton. How long have those arrows been there? Now I don't know. Alright, so we're gonna make a pond here. And this is concerningly close to the ravine. What was that? I thought I saw... Yeah, oh, it's a chicken. It's a chicken. I'm on edge from last week's video. That's weird. What we found last week was weird, guys. Okay? I know the video didn't perform well and no one saw what I'm talking about, so I sound really crazy right now. But I promise that's not normal Minecraft generation. That's really weird. I am so curious about that. I found a thing that can decode world seeds into words. Because the way that Minecraft converts your world seed into, the way that Minecraft converts your worlds, like, if you type a word for your world seed, the way it converts that into a usable numeric seed is using, hashes through Java, obviously, because this game is coded in JavaScript. It might work differently in Bedrock, I don't know, because Bedrock uses, C#. I think C# also has hashes, it shouldn't work differently, it shouldn't. Because you need a code to decode hashes anyway. Regardless, I found a thing that, can translate Minecraft seeds back into possible words that can be used to generate them. It can also detect if the world can be generated naturally, or if it's from typing in a seed, stuff like that. Like, I did my homework here on this, and no word can be created. And I do want to make it clear is that with hashes, a lot of words can be generated from a set of numbers. Now, I think with naturally generating seeds, it's a lot more likely that you end up with something that doesn't translate into anything. But yeah, it was just, I wanted to see if there was anything there, because that generation of that village, again, you can see it in last week's video. It's pretty early on in the video. I know this sounds like shameless promotion for my own video, but genuinely, this project's gonna take too long today. I can't go back there. No, but it's just, it was such a weird thing. It was so weird. If you guys want to see what I'm talking about, I will, I'll have a card. I never do these cards, so we'll see if I actually do it right. Should be in the top right-hand corner. There will be a little eye. You guys have been on YouTube before. You know how this works. There will be a little card there that links to the video. I'll also have it at the end. Because, yeah, I honestly, it's such a weird generation. And with, like, my mind immediately went to that sort of creepypasta stuff that I used to do a couple of videos on, right? It was certainly strange. It definitely got my creepypasta senses tingling. But the seed, at least, like, the seed is fully natural. To be fair, there have been weird, I refrain from using the word cursed a little bit here, just because I think it's generally acceptable to say that most of those creepypastas aren't real. Generally speaking, there's definitely worlds that are creepy or that have weird stuff like that, and it's really fun to go in and think about, like, the creepypasta that might be going on, or the analog horror, which is also a lot of fun to look at. Like, it's a lot of fun to look at those and take them at face value as something other than just people telling a story or trying to create something a bit scary. But most of the time, those aren't anything, and there are occasions where they are something. Those ones are actually terrifying, because it's real. When something is scary, it is scary. When something is scary and it's real, it's terrifying. So, like, I don't think that there's any, like, actual creepypasta stuff that would be going on with this world seed. It's been a normal world up to this point. If there was something weird that, like, was going on, we would have noticed something else by now, I feel like. Where's this item? There it is. And to be fair, I do have mods. So again, you can have, like, this creepypasta sort of scenario that ends up actually being real because of mods, because of data packs, because of a horrifying bug in the code that is fairly rare, or even that is fairly common. That's where Herobrine comes from. Old school alpha Minecraft had a lot of really interesting bugs. The image of Herobrine was never real. That was something that someone had created. But the things that Herobrine was associated with doing, a lot of those were just bugs at the time. I mean, trees generating without their leaves. Early Minecraft had... Or they weren't generating without their trees. I can go through a couple of what I remember of the original Herobrine stories on, like, what he did in your world. And some of them are obviously just going to be people trying to, create scary tales about this creepypasta that everyone latched onto. And it was a very successful creepypasta because Alpha Minecraft is creepy. It's the way that the light renders, everything, it feels just a little bit wrong. And it did even back then. Early Minecraft had this weirdly surreal, creepy feeling. And so that really lent itself to the Herobrine creepypasta. Now, there's like 12 versions of the story at this point, but what he does in your worlds sort of remain fairly consistent. He would remove all the leaves from the trees. He would create structures around the world, stuff like that. Like, those were really the key ones. Sometimes they would go into detail about what those structures were, like traps or towers or tunnels with redstone torches were some of my favorite ones the tunnels with redstone torches, because they were always really creepy to see in regards of, like, people making stories around this creepypasta. Those ones I thought were fun. But basically, what would actually be happening is that there was a bug in Alpha Minecraft code where it would replicate your builds. Like, blocks that you placed could be reloaded on other chunks. It's terrifying if you don't know about it. And a lot of people obviously didn't know about it. They were just playing Minecraft. So they're walking around this world, and all of a sudden, their single-player world has a structure in it. That can't happen. That's not normal. What's going on here? I'm gonna search this up on the internet. And you see stories of Herobrine, of people experiencing the same thing and saying that they saw a Steve with fully white eyes. And all of a sudden, you're on edge. You're on edge. You're looking for details of that story. So you're looking at normal early Minecraft bugs. Alpha Minecraft has a bug where some trees sometimes, like, the leaves will decay before you even get there. Not fully, but, like, enough to drop a sapling. There'll just be saplings sitting on the ground. So you look at that and it's like, oh, Herobrine must have done something. Or early Minecraft fire spread very, very quickly. Dangerously quickly, mind you. And it could burn down a whole forest, or just the leaves of all the trees. Sound familiar? That's part of what people thought Herobrine did. So you have all of these, like, individually normal events that are creepy, and when you're looking at them through the lens of the creepypasta, all of a sudden it looks like something. And there's obviously, like, real world things that have a similar effect, and I'm sure that has, well, it does have a name. It's confirmation bias. At least I think it's confirmation bias. I might be getting definitions mixed up. Let me tell you, being in front of a camera, it does make you, like, a little bit dumber. Just for the time being. I could walk out of this room after I'm done recording, and I could be like, oh, no, that was this, and I know this term fully well. Why did I say that? But no, it is a thing, and if you ever see a YouTuber do math, you will see it happen in real time. They will not be able to do the most simple of math, even though they fully can and should know how to do it. But yeah, so that's where a lot of those sort of creepypastas come from, is you end up with something normal that's a little bit off-putting, and then you start looking for things, and when you look for things, you're bound to find them. So that's how we end up with creepypastas like Herobrine, or, I mean, the Saturn Seed was a different thing. That one, I don't even know how that would have actually worked, as far as, like, a bug goes, or how that one started. That's the one that I did end up doing a YouTube series based off of. It's been a couple of years since those videos came out. I think it's pretty safe to say that, like, yeah, that one did end up being a little bit narrative at the end there, right? There's no way, to my knowledge, for Minecraft to generate a truly red moon, and I wanted to, like, I had made a lot of videos in that world, and I saw nothing actually happen, but at a certain point it sort of became more narrative, and I was sort of telling the story at that point. So and it was fun to do. I really enjoyed telling that story, and it's called Unfiction. For those of you who don't know, Unfiction is telling a story that is fiction as if it is true. That is different from outright lying. I'm not intending for people to fall for it, but it is definitely a thing that sometimes needs a little bit of caution, because particularly convincing unfiction, or unfiction directed at younger audiences, can sometimes lead to people believing that it's true. But yeah, no, so, like, the Saturn Seed, I don't even know how that myth started. of the red moon, because Saturn is not a red moon. I don't know. Like, Saturn wouldn't be my pick. The planet that is typically depicted as yellow, I would not have picked for a creepypasta. And to my knowledge, there's never been a bug in Minecraft that changed the color of the moon. But it was a fun creepypasta. And obviously there, I looked at, like, weird generation, and I used that to try and direct myself somewhere, find something. I never, outside of the moon at the end of the series, I didn't fake any of what I did or what I looked for. I was just looking for things that didn't quite seem like normal Minecraft generation, and lo and behold, they were. They were normal Minecraft generation the whole time. But Minecraft just does weird things sometimes. And so, like that generation that we found last video, that could just be Minecraft being weird sometimes. Or it could be something. It's really fun to think of it as being something. I would love a world where it is something, you know, it's, I mean, it's an inconvenient world to have a creepypasta in, let me tell you, but it's a fun thought of, like, being in an organic creepypasta that's, like, unfolding in real time in front of you. That's part of the allure of ARGs, of analog horror, is that you can see the events of the creepypasta happening over the uploads and stuff like that, and that's really cool. And you can solve stuff for it and figure it out. That's really cool. And then, you know, you want, like, stuff like that. That's really fun. That's, again, how many times can I say the word? It's really cool. It's so cool to have stuff like that. That's a really fun media to work with as a creator, but also to experience as a viewer. Like, it's got a lot of benefits to it, for sure. We're going to be irresponsible. We're going to make another chest. There we go. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. As I said, it would be really inconvenient for this seed to just have, like, a creepypasta thing going on, or an analog horror, something's creepy is going on because of the seed. There could be a mod doing something weird. Again, the only mod that I have that affects world generation is fossils and archaeology, which is only using that to generate the volcano biomes, and TerraBlend, which, if I go over to TerraBlend, where is it? TerraBlender. A library mod for adding biomes in a simple and compatible manner with Minecraft's new biome/terrain system. Now, though neither of those affect base Minecraft generation, so that village that we found with the messed up biome borders and the weird generation of paths generating on water in a way that they're not supposed to, or in the air in a way that they're not supposed to, that's not simply explained away by my mods. There is something to be said for potentially a world where it's just normal Minecraft bugginess. But it's interesting, and that's sort of the thing that I'm trying to make a point of, is that it's interesting. It could be something. And it's really fun to think about it as something. To a certain degree, I hope that it is something, that there is something there to investigate, because that's a lot of fun to do. And honestly, it's like, you're going to investigate something, you're going to enjoy figuring it out, what's going on. Even if it is just, like, Minecraft's world generation got a little bit weird. Why? Why did it get weird? This doesn't happen in other Minecraft worlds, right? You don't really see floating villages to that extent. So it's a lot of, I'm saying that word a lot. I'm saying it's a lot of fun. I think too much, maybe. It's interesting. No, I'm saying that a lot, too. It creates a sense of intrigue, right? Well, okay, so we can go ahead and assume that this is just normal Minecraft, fine. It's normal Minecraft. It's a bug that's been patched out fully by this version, by the previous version. They patched out world generation by 1.18.1. This world was created in not even 1.18.1, 1.18 flat. This world was created in 1.18.2, and those chunks are in our newest version, which is 1.20. Where are these chunks? They're over here. Right, there's a cherry blossom, cherry grove right over there. Here is our weird generation. So our version is 1.20.1. Those chunks are from 1.20.1. So whatever is going on there, like, it's either something weird with my mods, something that shouldn't happen because it's been patched out, but it did anyway because of weird Minecraft quirks. The game certainly has plenty of those, though that's just a byproduct of it being in its own engine. Or something spooky is going on, and if we poke around, maybe we'll find a mysterious entity in our world that shouldn't exist, and I'll just brush it off because this is modded. No, but like, I know what should be in here because of these mods, so if I see something that shouldn't exist, that would certainly be weird. Speaking of weird, those weird recipes, I figured out what mod was doing that, so I think, like, we had one for the frog lights. Nothing, I fixed it. I have roughly enough items instead of JEI, and one of the, and basically I added in every single add-on mod to get as much usability out of REI as I can. One thing I miss from JEI is the ability to look at villager trades. They might have added one of those for REI, I should check. But REI had one called Roughly Enough Recipes, and I thought that it was just adding, like, the recipes for modded things that weren't compatible. Like, it was a separate mod to fix compatibility issues or something like that. No, it added new recipes in a vanilla style, which is, to be fair, it pulled that off. There were some of those recipes that I thought, oh, is this just the normal vanilla recipe for this thing? No, it wasn't. That was added in by, yeah, see, we used to have one that used, 3, I think it was like, yeah, it just used 3 specific dye colors, and if you added them all together, you would get black dye. I thought, oh, is this a vanilla recipe that I just don't remember? No, it was added by Roughly Enough Items. And that was weird, but I never thought any of that was creepy. I just thought that one of the mods was doing something. That world generation, though, does confuse me, because none of the mods, as I have brought up a couple of times now, none of those mods should be doing anything like that. So why, then, if we will humor my incessant insanity, why is the world generation being like that? It doesn't make any sense. And obviously, it's a lot of fun to theorize about, and me checking to see if the seed equivalated to any word was very much a thing where I'm gonna go down the creepypasta route and see if there's anything spooky going on, and then there wasn't, and that was less fun. But that's fine, you know. It's sort of it's fine. Why do I have? Nope. What am I doing? What am I doing? There we go. Why did I open this? I didn't mean to open that. Wanted one there. Okay. Yeah. It's all in good fun, but I found nothing. That doesn't mean that there isn't anything, that just means that I have to go down a different avenue to find anything creepy. Which I don't necessarily think that... Again, as I've explained earlier, if you are looking for something, there's a good chance that you find it, even if it's not there. If I go around this world looking for evidence of something spooky going on, I am bound to find something spooky going on. I'm probably not going to go on too often looking for anything creepy, but if I notice anything, I'll absolutely bring it up, because it's fun to talk about. It's so much fun. And that's why Alpha Minecraft was really great for all this stuff, is because it just was creepy. Unintentionally so, it was creepy, and it had weird quirks that were just rare enough that you didn't think it was just the engine being weird, but common enough that you thought something was going on instead of just a bug. Because if I see one tree without its leaves, oh, that's strange. If I see a whole forest without its leaves, oh, what did that? How did that happen? That's not supposed to be like that. Why is this way? This is concerning. Right? And Alpha Minecraft, Beta Minecraft to a certain degree as well, they fixed a lot of that, but you still had a fairly creepy lighting system. So it also has a lot of those very disturbing sort of moments to it, and a lot of those bugs that are famous for causing creepypastas have been bug fixed out. But there was still enough there for people to come up with things. Then, to be fair, there are creepypastas in modern Minecraft outside of, like, the regular analog horror and ARGs that people create to tell stories. There are, like, creepypastas that people come up with because they found something weird. Something that shouldn't be that way. Because Minecraft is written in its own engine, and as we've talked about multiple times, that comes with a lot of jankiness to it. So there's always going to be something that's just weird enough that maybe something is out there. Maybe somewhere over the distance, you're playing in your Minecraft world, you're building your house, and you look off in one direction. My render distance is too low for this effect. You look off in the distance, and on top of a mountain, you see something that kind of looks too much like a player to be right. And maybe it's just a zombie that has a glitched shadow. Maybe it's nothing at all and you're seeing something that's not there. Or maybe, just maybe, you get to tell a story. You get to scare all your friends with the creepy thing that you found in your world, and you take a screenshot, you send it to them. Maybe you share it around, see what other people think's going on, and all of a sudden, you got yourself a story. Whether you intended to or not, you have yourself a story. If you intended to have a story, You did good. If you didn't intend to have a story, you're about to have a lot of fun making one with a lot of people who believe in it just as much as you do. Both of those are really fun ways to tell a story when you find something weird in a video game and decide to run with it. Decide to try and figure it out. See what is going on there. Maybe you'll find something. Maybe you'll find a glitch in Minecraft's code that'll one day get patched out. Maybe you'll find that one of your friends pranked you by downloading a data pack. I don't know what you'll find. But you'll find something somewhere if you just look for it. Man, that could have been a beautiful ending to a video. But I just ramble here while I work on my dinosaur enclosures. I should explain what that scaffolding is for. My theory is that if I place scaffolding on top and then I waterlog it or place the water on top of it, we'll test to see which one of those works, then I can cover up the hole so that we have all of our depth and still, like, fill it in with water without it being a whole hassle. That's the idea. Hopefully this is big enough for my Mosasaurus. I should have cleared my inventory. But yeah, you know, go out there and tell stories. I don't know. I don't think there was really meant to be a moral to that rambling. There is something comforting, at least for me, and maybe it's nostalgia, in old internet horror and creepypastas and stuff like that. A certain level of familiarity, of comfort. And as I said, I think a lot of that, sure, it comes from nostalgia, but also just the telling of a really interesting story. A story that, obviously there are tropes for creepypastas, just like any other story, but it is going to be a story that has different tropes than the ones that you're necessarily going to be used to. It can surprise you in new ways, and a lot of the Minecraft creepypastas or analog horrors, they really do what they do well. Because they're using something that's, you know, it's very familiar, but it's just janky enough, and every time you run it, it's just different enough that maybe one player does have something different in their world. Maybe one player, maybe there's something there. And that's what lets those... also, a lot of Valve games can have a similar thing, which is interesting. And again, it's because there's just enough jank that maybe there's something there. You know, like, Valve's engine, the source engine, is, and you can ask anyone who has ever used it, it's got some jank to it. It's good. It's a good engine. It receives no support anymore, which is why it's fallen out of a lot of use. But it's a pretty good, solid engine. There we go. It's a good, solid engine, but it has jank. And so, how hard is it to believe that maybe that code isn't doing what it's supposed to, or maybe that NPC you coded is behaving outside of the code, but intentionally, not just a bug, but actually behaving. in a way. There's a perfect amount of jank for that. Because if something is too janky, it's not fun to tell a story with. No one's gonna tell a story with the game that barely runs, or that's so glitchy that you actually can't find something creepy happening scary because it just seems like a bug. There's a golden zone there, a Goldilocks zone for the planet nerds in my audience. I have no idea how many of you there are, but I'm sure there are some. A Goldilocks zone of the perfect amount of jank that you can tell your creepypasta, but not so janky that it stops being scary because, oh, that's just a bug. That's fine. No one's worried about it. Because you can't just take, like, a super heavily polished game and have that same effect. You can, actually. I should correct myself. You can do that. But it's gonna take a little bit more legwork, because people aren't immediately gonna subscribe to the idea that there's this weird, textureless, weirdly modeled figure in only your copy of this game. The game's too polished for something like that to happen. But then for games like that, you can always do the thing where you found it at a garage sale, and the person selling it to you was really weirdly happy to get rid of it for some reason, or warned you against playing it, or something like that. Like, there's always an avenue you can go down in your storytelling to get the thing to work, even if the media doesn't allow for it to work as effectively. Like the game, for the examples we're doing here, creepypastas, sometimes you're gonna have to do a little bit of extra work to get people to believe that there's this weird thing in your heavily polished game, or maybe the thing that's weird in your heavily polished game is outside of the game boundary. Like, you have to pull off a glitch that gets you out of bounds before you can see any of the creepy stuff. There's ways to do it, and that's for a heavily polished game. If you're looking at a game that's particularly glitchy, you do have avenues, again, to make it creepy still. I'm gonna sound insane when I say that. You can just make it not glitch. Something that is a little bit scary to do for people, or like for gamers, when you're doing your creepypasta story, is to have it behave wrong. Oh, I have this super buggy game that I want to tell a creepypasta with. Oh, okay. Well, the most unsettling thing you can do with a game that has a lot of glitches is remove them. Because why is your version of the game suddenly working fine? What caused it, especially if the developers aren't actively updating the game, or like no one else has a version of the game that runs properly? Why is yours got no bugs? And then you make the creature or whatever, or the entity or the organization of your creepypasta. Those are all tropes and cliches, to be fair. You can probably do something more creative than that. But have your thing be the reason that it's behaving fine. Oh, yeah, my game started running fine after I downloaded this weird file, and the only bug that's left in my game is that something seems to be watching me? It's really strange. I don't know what's going on. Something like that could work really well. And I know I called them cliches and tropes earlier, but you're allowed to use cliches and tropes in your stories. There are sometimes more effective ways to use them than how they normally get used. But you are allowed to do that. You're allowed to have fun with your story. If having fun with your story means you're gonna use a cliche story trope, then use the cliche story trope. How do you repair a scarab pickaxe? Are we gonna have to go on a hunt for mending soon? Repair. None of those are... Oh, okay. We're good. We can repair it with relic scraps. Oh, I was scared for a second. That's gonna take so many relic scraps, but I also have so many relic scraps. No, but yeah, you can use cliches and tropes in your story. First and foremost, your story is for you. Secondly, it is for the people who enjoy it. And then after that, it's for the people that find it. Right? The first person that you're writing for is you. You should be taking pride in your work. Then you should be writing for the people who are enjoying your work. And if they're enjoying your work, they're enjoying what you're enjoying. So you don't need to change anything. They might give you good ideas. You can listen to your readers, your audience. You can listen to their critique or their ideas, but you don't have to. You are allowed to just create a story. That's okay. And then finally, you're writing for the people who are gonna find this story, who will become the people that enjoy your story. And you don't have to change anything for them either. Because they are here for your story. At the end of the day, they're there for your story. And if they find your story and they don't like it, you don't have to change something to make them like it. The story wasn't for them. But it is for someone else. Someone out there will like your story. In any capacity. It could be a really early work of yours that you're not particularly proud of. But somewhere out there, there's going to be someone who thought they're doing a good job. Because even when it's someone's first time telling a story, you can tell when it's you can usually tell when it's someone's first time telling a story. They're going to make mistakes, they're going to do weird things, or they're going to overuse certain cliches or tropes. But at the end of the day, someone is going to read your story, or not. Again, that could be in two ways. That could be, it's a different media. Someone's going to find your story, and they're going to enjoy it. Someone. You could get hundreds of criticisms of people not liking your story. But someone's going to like it. Because every single piece of media, in theory, every single piece of media is somebody's favorite. You might not ever know the mysterious person that did like your story. They might not ever say anything, but it'll exist in their mind. They will have enjoyed it. You don't need to know necessarily whether or not someone liked it. Because, as I said, first and foremost, you're creating the story for you. To do something creative, to get out an idea, just to try telling a story even. Those are all more than valid reasons to want to tell a story. There isn't a bad reason to tell a story, at least not off the top of my head. I can't think of a single reason to tell a story that is objectively bad. There are bad messages that you could put in a story, for sure. But even that, to a certain degree, is in the eye of the beholder, you know. So I don't think that there's necessarily a bad reason to tell a story. I guess if you were doing it just for the idea of gaining something, if there's no passion, that might be not that might be a bad reason. But you're more robbing from yourself. And people, generally speaking, can tell when there's no passion put into something. That's one thing that humans tend to be good at, is determining whether or not something is soulless. Whether or not the people involved actually cared. But if you're telling a story, especially those creepypastas that I was using as an example, if you're telling a story like that, you're probably telling it because you care, right? Because you want to tell that story. It's for you, it's for the people that enjoy it. It's not for making a bunch of money. It's for fun. Or to scare people. That's also an option. You can make things to scare people. Highly recommend. It's fun. It's so much fun. No, but I think I'm making sense. I do think I'm making sense. And if I'm not making sense to you, hopefully I'm making sense to somebody. Somebody who watches this video, hopefully. Hopefully someone watches this video. That would be tragic. No, but hopefully someone takes away something regarding telling a story from my long rambling here. Because you can just tell a story. No one can stop you. Literally no one. What are they gonna do? Take away your pencil? You can tell a story orally or in 100 different ways, 1,000 different ways. It doesn't really matter how that story gets told, as long as you tell it. I do not like that there is copper here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take all of it. There we go. Alright. Fill in a majority of it. Okay, how am I going to do this? Because I want to... There. Okay, hold on. There we go. Okay, now that's all smooth. I can get back to rambling. Yeah, tell your story, though. Whatever story you want to tell. Whatever media you want to tell it in. We are at a point where there are so many options for how to tell a story. You could choose to tell it through video, through just through traditional writing, or you could tell it through a series of puzzles. You could tell it through internet comments. I don't know why you would do that, but you could. No one is going to stop you, and anyone that tries, they don't have to succeed. They don't have to succeed. You can just keep telling your story. until you run out of a story to tell, and you decide, that's the ending of this story. That's how this story ends. And then you move on to whatever is next. That could be another story. That could be a break. You can take a break, or try out do a different hobby. Do one of your other hobbies that you enjoy. Apparently, I'm not good at speaking today, or I'm talking far too much. Either way. But yeah, you're allowed to just do things. You have free will. Use it. You know, you have so many options for how to do things. You might as well do things. I'm making a cave for a mosasaurus. I don't know if this is the best use of my free will. I have no idea. But I'm doing it, and no one's gonna stop me. Because this is pre-recorded. So even if y'all wanted to tell me that I shouldn't do this, it's a bad idea, it's too late. This is recorded in advance. Not much in advance. This video comes out at 12 p.m. tomorrow, and it's almost 11. 11 p.m. today. I'm recording late. It's fine. It's a Saturday. I don't have anything going. Well, I have D&D tomorrow. Huh. Should finish up this cave. I have D&D tomorrow. I forgot about that. See, telling a story. Another option for an avenue to tell a story, actually. Dungeons and Dragons. It's a good one, because as the game master, or the dungeon master, or whatever you want to call them, and this goes for any TTRPG, tabletop roleplay game, not just D&D, is the person in charge, the dungeon master, I'm going to call them here, they tell a story. Sure, they have the basis for the story. But the players are also part of that story. They're telling part of the story, what their characters are doing, how things go. To a certain degree, how the story ends is on the players. Because you, as the dungeon master, or I'm going to use me as an example here. As the dungeon master, I can write out an ending for my campaign. I can know exactly how I intend for it to end. But something can happen. Maybe an important NPC dies. Now the ending is different. Maybe the players all die. Apparently all the examples are morbid. The ending is different. You can write the ending, but your players are going to change how that ending occurs, or what that ending is fully. That's just part of it. You're not making a story alone in that situation. You're making a story with other people, and they are going to affect the story quite a lot. You, obviously, as the dungeon master in that situation, it is mainly going to be your story, right? I'm not denying that at all. But other people can affect that story. They can make changes to it. Things can change. It doesn't have to be exactly what you planned out at the start. When I write a campaign for D&D, I will write a general layout of events. Right, alright, here's all the events that would happen in the campaign if the players impacted nothing. That's what I do. And that is the guide for the campaign. But obviously, the players aren't gonna do nothing the whole campaign. They are going to do something. They are going to affect the story. That is inevitable. So it's a guideline. It's roughly what you're doing. It's your basis for everything that happens. But it isn't the end-all be-all, you know? It's, something is gonna happen. Going back to an example of killing an important NPC. Let's use that example, because I like the worldcraft of making a D&D campaign, so I end up putting in some important NPCs. And with how I write them, I am fully fine with one of them perishing. I know that that is going to happen to probably at least one of them. And maybe one of them will have the explicit story purpose of perishing to become a sort of motivation for the party. Or maybe one of them who is supposed to give important information, maybe something happens and they die. I want to test this. We're going to do this, just so that this doesn't... Well, this will create a mess no matter what, so I don't know why I did all this. If I shift place, that waterlogs. If I just place normally, that also waterlogs. Okay. Then let's do this. I'm just testing things. I want to see what happens. Like, how painful is this going to be? Haha! We can make an infinite water source. Okay. There we go. We learned. There we go. So yeah, that's generally... If an NPC that's supposed to give important information perishes in one of my campaigns, I have a couple of options. Either I can have a different NPC give that information. That's why we have multiple. Or maybe they discover it a different way. Or maybe, if it's not like a quest, if it's not strictly necessary for the progression of the story, but it's just like a detail of like something that's gonna happen, like a warning. Let's say that we have a town crier character who's warning about orcs coming to invade the village, for example. The players don't necessarily need that information. It's a warning of what's to come. So, if the players end up killing that NPC, maybe they don't learn that the orcs are coming. And now they're surprised. I think that maybe if you're doing that with a group of D&D players who are newer to the game, that's maybe a little bit evil. My group... The group that I would do that to is more experienced. Right, my group is a bit more experienced at D&D, but... You know, the option exists that you can do that to your players. You can... Again, if it's like a quest, you need a different way for them to find a quest. A story hook, they need to be able to find the story hooks, or else you are going to have a difficult time telling your story, you know? I'm gonna need more scaffolding, which is fine. I think I have string. And is there a way to craft string? Craft string. If I put wool in an analyzer, I can get 3 string. Ooh, that's good to know. Plus, I get some DNA. Goat, llama, sheep. You know, none of those are bad. I do have a sheep sitting around. But yeah, the main thing is that, like, with a quest, usually that's going to be something the players need to find. The story can't really progress if they don't find that. Right? Unless you're handing your players a quest that exists to help them, like, level up or to just do some combat, that quest is probably going to be story relevant. I could probably get away with filling in all of these and then just breaking them all and moving them, couldn't I? Oh, is it because there's no block underneath it? Interesting. Okay. That's fine. Because what this lets me do... Oh, that was a bad one to remove. Apparently. Is I can just go all the way out here. And I can break this all with one... Like, it's going to be a lot quicker. So they only fill if there's solid blocks beneath them. That is interesting. That's fine. That kind of makes sense. That is how it works with non-waterlogged blocks, but also waterlogged blocks do behave weird. I was saying something about D&D. I think I got my point across, though, of the, you know, usually your quests are going to be story important, so you need a way if the main way your players were intended to find a quest is no longer a viable option, i.e. NPC dying. You need a different way. Have backup plans. You cannot control what your players do. They will do something unexpected. So, sometimes you're going to have to improv a bit, for sure. But generally, just have a couple of backup plans. You can let them catch you off guard, that's fine. In theory, they're your friends. Or, if you are a professional dungeon master for D&D, you probably already know all of this. I don't think my advice is helping too much. Unless it's a different style of DMing that you're not used to. Like if you run more railroad campaigns. I tend to give my players a lot of option for story progression. Obviously, I still have the general story, but how things go, I give my players a lot of choice there. They could decide to, you know, trust this NPC or not trust that NPC. Go with this NPC, not with that one. Stuff like that. But the events of the story are still going to occur. And one thing that lets me do with the campaign is that if the players decide to ignore the story and do something else instead, the story is not ignoring them. Oh, you didn't. You heard about the army of orcs that are coming to attack the village, and you decided to do nothing about it. Well, they finally arrived. Now, you have to do something about it, or else you're all gonna perish. You know, it's, again, not necessarily always gonna work with newer D&D players. But with players that are a bit more experienced, you can get away with the story still progressing without them. Having stuff like, at the example that I've been using here, the orc army arrives at the village, and you guys haven't done anything to prepare. You've spent all your time messing with this one NPC who is just trying to sell his cabbage. You know, like, oh, the orcs still showed up. The story progressed even though you didn't do anything along that quest, along that route. With newer players, that'll feel a little bit punishing, especially because sometimes they won't know necessarily what they should do in a situation. If you, as a more experienced DM or a more experienced player, are playing with newer players, it's a good idea generally to give them a helping hand. Like, don't have the orcs just invade. That's gonna be fine for more experienced players, especially if they had some way to find out about the orcs that are coming. Because then they had warning. Or, even, we can look at an example where the players don't know about the orcs coming. Because I suggested this, and then I proceeded to use it as a different example. I suggested this as a situation where a town crier is giving this information, right? So, you could end up with a situation where, maybe the town crier doesn't make it for whatever reason. It doesn't get to the players. Maybe it's the player's fault that the town crier doesn't get there. I don't know what your group's doing. You do, but I don't. Does that? No. Yeah, okay. I'm just making sure I know how water behaves in Minecraft. So in our example of the town criers trying to tell the players about these orcs that are coming to invade the town, and what are we gonna do about them? And the players don't hear this. How are you then gonna prepare your players for that situation? If it's newer players, what you should do is you should have them find out a different way. Or you should have this orc army be pitifully small. Something that your newer players can handle. But if your players are more experienced, you have a lot more that you can play with there. What is going on? Scaffolding in Minecraft is weird, I forgot. Right, if your players are more experienced, you don't need to hold their hands for anything. Or, like, not really. So, oh, they didn't find out about the orcs that are coming to invade the village. The town crier was unable to deliver the message for some reason or another. We don't know why, we just know that the message never made it to the town. Maybe your players are gonna go exploring and they can find the town crier's donkey and find the note with the donkey that says, oh, the orcs are coming. Now your players know that that is gonna happen. Or maybe you don't want them to know for whatever reason. You should give them a way to prepare for the combat, or give them a lesser combat before that. A combat that's a lot simpler, where they can get gear, or have them become a part of the King's Guard, or the Queen's Guard, or whatever you have. If you have something like that in your setting, because then you have a way for them to get a bunch of weapons and stuff. Some swords, some bows and arrows. If you have magic users, you could have them join the wizarding school or whatever you have set up. Again, just to give them a way to have access to supplies to prepare themselves, ambiently prepare themselves for the combat. Because an army of orcs, that is going to be a combat, for sure. There's going to be a decent bit of fighting that goes on there. And you don't want your players wholly unprepared for a full army of orcs. If they have magic users, they might be able to do that. But if it's mostly melee, especially without healers, they might struggle. I broke another one of those swords, man. Down so many of those. Alright, that's fine. I'm gonna put the pickaxe in for repair, though. Yeah, an army of orcs isn't exactly a theoretically easy combat. So you gotta make sure that your players are getting armed. Having them pick up a couple of side missions that arm them can be a good way to do that. Or, trying to think of other examples here of how you might want to do that. I mean the joining the King's Guard, having that be, you could make that a theoretically mandatory part of the story, but then you've removed the place of the choice of the player to not join the King's Guard if they want to align themselves with a different guild or whatever. Right? You want your players to have choices, generally speaking. So how do we give our players a choice and also prepare them for this combat? Have them uncover a dungeon in the basement of one of the shops in town. It doesn't always have to make the most sense. You know, it's a fantasy game at the end of the day. That's not to say that it can never make sense. That's definitely not what I am saying. But like, oh, someone's got a secret that we have to explore, or there's thieves have broken in to our home to steal from us. We have to fight them. And they fight them, and the thieves drop their bags and run, and inside of those bags was a bunch of weapons that they had stolen from other adventurers. Nothing great. I'd be careful. You're gonna go down if you're not careful, yeah. So one flaw with my scaffolding plan is that the center is sort of not getting filled in. But what I can do is I can always make a thing like a platform. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I'm not worried about it. Yeah, there's always another option to get your players what they need. Information, or if you're in a position where you can't get them the information for whatever reason, I'm not going to pretend to know the situations that you're in. I don't know what's going to happen. So, you can just prepare them and then ambush them. I don't know. I'm really just mainly using this orc example because I know a couple of my players occasionally watch these videos, and I don't want to use any actual examples of what I'm actually gonna send at them. I'm not giving them anything. No, but I mean, it's one example, but it allows us to look at multiple ways that you can do some of this stuff. Because there are a lot of options for how to handle any given specific problem. We've looked at a couple here, and maybe my specific solutions that I've given aren't necessarily the best. I'm not going to pretend to be the world's best D&D DM. That's not something I'm going to do. I'm not going to pretend that I'm the best at this. I do it for fun, with my friends. I'm obviously, there's gonna be people who are better at this than me, who maybe would hear what I'm saying and say, no, that's a really bad idea, don't do that. But it's how I end up telling my stories, and that is okay. In this situation, the stories are just as much for me as they are for my players. In that situation, I was given examples earlier of who you're writing or who you're creating your story for. In this situation, you and your players are treated equally as writers, or maybe arguably as the DM, your players can even partially come first. I think you still need to care enough about your story to have the passion, but your players are gonna be the one who are in the story. So, hopefully, they're having fun with it. You know, you want them to enjoy what you've created. And I know that goes a little bit against what I was talking about earlier with writing for you. But when you're writing for your players, a lot of the time, you will be writing for you, just a bit differently than how you normally do it. Because now when you're writing for you, you're also writing for somebody else at the same time. Because you can create a whole world, you can create a whole story, but the players are going to change it as they go through it. Things are going to happen that you couldn't have planned for. All of that is fine. Need some water. There we go. Also need water in real life, but I can't do anything about that right now. Drink water. It's a good idea. I didn't bring any water with me. That was a bad idea. Doesn't even have to be like... It's not like I can't have water here. I'm not super worried about the laptop that I record on. Yes, I record on a laptop. How do I... Oh, wait. Good old scaffolding. Fix all my problems. There we go. Yeah, I have a cup that I could have, or a mug, I guess. It is a mug. That I, like, half intend to use mainly for while I'm recording. And that applies to when I'm using my face cam as well. It's a fun mug that one of my friends made me with one of Ian Malcolm's quotes from Jurassic Park. It's a really nice mug, and I use it a decent bit. But I think it would be a nice thing to have for while I'm recording. Just like, I could have it here with me, and I can take sips out of it instead of being dangerously dehydrated all the time while I ramble on endlessly about whatever topic I have decided I'm talking about today. Yeah. Mostly today's just been about, you know, storytelling in different aspects. You know, we started with creepypastas, switched more to general, and then I started talking a bit about D&D and giving some examples of how I tell stories in D&D. Because I'm allowed to do that. I'm allowed to do whatever I want. This is my channel, and no one is gonna stop me. Because no one No one is here. I'm alone in a room. I know. Crazy. I mean, like, it doesn't necessarily, it's interesting, it doesn't necessarily feel quite as alone as you would think. And maybe that's because I know that I'm uploading this later. But yeah. Feels less alone than you would think. That's all I can really say. Unless I'm being watched. You and your bad trades. No, whoa, 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 whoa! What? What? Hi! What? What do you mean? How is this happened? Okay. You can be invisible. I don't mind that. 'Cause now, what is this? It's moving. Right? That was facing over here earlier. That's turning. What? Is that because of the position of... That's because of the position of these two. That's fine. And they're trying to follow him. Still. Is it a rendering issue? We're gonna go to sleep. We're gonna see if it's still there in the morning. I'm also gonna eat something, because I am very low on health. That's so weird. That's the second weird thing in 2 videos. Remember how I talked about if you're looking for something, you're gonna find it? I wasn't looking for that. No, I mean, let me be serious for 5 whole seconds. Assuming that that is something creepy would be looking for something creepy. You know, I've taken a very weird glitch that I have never seen before, and I have come to the conclusion, due to the existence of another similar thing. And now you're fine. Is it because I unloaded your chunks? Because... that was so weird. That was so weird. I don't know how that happened. I don't know. Minecraft is being weird today, guys. I don't know what's going on. Minecraft was being weird last week, too. Aha! There we go. Nope, no. Oh, good. It doesn't break the scaffolding. That could have been really bad. Actually, that would have more just been vaguely inconvenient than really bad. I don't need both these buckets. I don't know why I'm using both of them. Oh, what did I hit? I hit F1, which opened Microsoft Edge. I don't want to open Microsoft Edge. No one ever wants to open Microsoft Edge. I don't... Does anyone use Microsoft Edge actually at all? I don't think so. Maybe I'll get a comment. Someone, the one person who uses Microsoft Edge is gonna let me know. Or, I'm gonna find out that no one, at least in my audience, uses Microsoft Edge. I feel like that's more likely. It's that no one in my audience, of however many people have viewed this video, I don't know the number because I can't tell the future, use Microsoft Edge. Because it's, I could be like, oh, no, none of my subscribers, but it's not going to be all my subscribers that watch this video. There's going to be some people who are new, some of my subscribers who don't watch the video just because that's YouTube. Not everyone watches every single video. I don't expect them to, honestly. I don't think anyone does expect their subscribers to watch every single video. I don't even know my audience, honestly. Like, I know you guys. How do I say this? I'm thinking this through. I know my audience in a very, like, general way, obviously. I don't personally know you. That would be a little bit creepy. But if you leave a comment, I know you a little bit. I know how you comment. I know how you chat with, like, I know how you talk or write YouTube comments. I know what you say. Because I read the comments. And obviously, you know, I know as a viewer, especially if you're watching through this whole video, that you probably like Minecraft and dinosaurs, or you like me rambling. But that is sorta the extent of, like, what I know. I don't know how old my viewers are. I make content that is relatively family friendly, like, I don't swear or anything like that. But I do just talk and, like, do this. It's not edited in the most... What the heck, man? Okay, you dropped one of them. This is weird, right? This is a weird bug. Is that gonna snap then? Is it gonna get so far that that's gonna snap? Or is it just gonna keep going? It's in the ground. It is going through the dirt. You're weird. I don't know how this is happening. But yeah, I don't know how old my audience is, like, remotely. Arguably, as far as internet safety goes, I shouldn't know how old you are. Knowing, like, generally, is my audience young? Are they older? Stuff like that isn't necessarily bad. I don't really care all that much. I make videos that are family friendly in the terms of, like, it is safe for kids to watch, but I'm sort of just doing my own thing. You know, I'm talking. Sometimes I play horror games. I don't swear there. I believe so far I've been pretty good at censoring any swears that are built into the horror games, if there even have been any swears in any of the horror games that I've played. A lot of them have been FNAF fan games, or a couple of them have been FNAF fan games, so those usually are pretty safe. Just because there's not a lot of dialogue in FNAF games. So, those ones are usually fine. But, like, sometimes I branch out a bit. Sometimes, then, also, when I branch out, there's a little bit of gore that I don't necessarily censor as well as maybe I should. That's mostly a byproduct of, again, I don't know how young my audience is. And I sort of go for family friend. When I say family friendly, I do mean, like, in theory, any age of a person in a family, as long as they like Minecraft and or dinosaurs, they could feasibly find enjoyment in my channel. That's kind of what I go for. You know, a child can enjoy the Minecraft gameplay and my builds and stuff. I do go for a very old style of recording that's very calm and no flashy cuts or anything like that, which YouTube algorithm does not vibe with. But you know, it's not bad. I enjoy it. I know some of you guys enjoy it. I have read those comments and I was so happy to see those comments. It felt so nice to see that people did like the style that I sort of record in. That was really nice to see. That's on the video where we got the Ceratosauruses. That's where I got those positive comments, and feels good, man. Feel the happiness in my heart when I think about those. But yeah, you know, it's an older style of recording, so there is, for older audiences that grew up on YouTube. So when I say, I guess that's teens, young adults, mostly, at this point. If I'm thinking about YouTube's age correctly. Right, or I guess anyone who watched older gameplay videos on YouTube will get, like, hopefully a feeling of a bit of nostalgia there from the older style of recording that I do. So there's something there. There's also, I feel like my talking, how I talk about stuff, lends itself to a more generalized audience, maybe, than a younger audience. I don't think every single child is going to be super enamored by my ramblings about storytelling. Some of them will be. There are absolutely children who are super interested in storytelling. That's awesome. If you ever find one, encourage them. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's going to be, some people who are going to enjoy that are going to be older. Some people are going to be younger. Some of them will be children. I don't know. Sometimes that I sort of feel like I lend myself with how I talk in that way to slightly older audiences. I don't know. For sure though. Because I don't really know what the main audience demographic is. If I believe my YouTube analytics, if I believe my YouTube Studio analytics, my viewers are all like 18 to 40. But also the lowest number in those YouTube analytics is 13. I don't necessarily think that all of my viewers are above 18. I feel like I make gaming videos. There is at least one child here. And I don't swear, I'm a safe option for, like, if the parents are doing their due diligence and checking what their children are watching. I'm a fairly safe option because I don't swear or anything like that. Whenever I'm recording with someone, I've recorded with Winbin a couple of times. When we're recording, he doesn't swear. And if someone does swear, I censor it, stuff like that. Like, I do my due diligence with all that, so I am a safe option for parents who are checking who their children are viewing on YouTube. Which, if you're a parent, you should be doing. And if you are a child on YouTube, don't let people know your age. Just, that's generally good advice to follow. Once you're an adult, it matters a little bit less, or usually a lot a bit less. But even then, you know, it's never a bad idea to be careful. I might sound paranoid when I say that, but, you know, better safe than sorry. Always better safe than sorry. Yeah, I don't know how old my audience is. I'm assuming that there is at least, like, one child who watches my videos. I feel like that's a pretty safe estimate, you know? At least one child. That's gotta be tall enough. That's probably too tall. Yeah, that's too tall. Okay, that's one too far. Oh, and we're gonna need supports. You know what, actually, there's no consequence of building it out too far in any direction. Right? So let's just... And then we just do that. Oh, okay, that one's going all the way across now. That might need... Oh, no, that's not what I wanted to do. If I had one there, would it be a full block or not, is what I want to know. There's there. Go over here. This is all very messy and haphazard, but that's fine. Again! It's messed up again. It's a weird thing. Messed up wandering trader. They're already weird enough. They didn't need any help. Alright, I am going to clean up this mess now. There we go. Get all of it. I'm an idiot. Oh, it's mostly fine. It's mostly fine. We're good. I mean, like, I'm still an idiot. That statement has not changed. Can I please... There we go. Nope, that was not what I meant to do. Minecraft, your scaffolding works weird. I want you to know that. They know. I think they know. Do I have it tall enough? I do. Minecraft flowing water is being difficult, as always. Okay. Alright, this time, I'm gonna fill this all with water first before I try and clean up, because I might make that mistake again, if I'm being perfectly honest. Alright. Oh, get some water. Which one of these is not full? You're not full. You're not full. Just keep going. I'll also have to do over there, which we will do before I finish up this center fully. What I want to, I think there was a couple over here that I was worried about. Maybe not, though. It was right there. That's annoying. I have a solution. full, technically. That's really weird, because you were not flowing. Alright, let's just keep going. I might not even break this until I do that side, and then I'll just, like, fill in everything properly. Nope. At least everything's pretty easy to fix. Except for that. That's really weird. And it keeps shifting every time I go to sleep. I can't even think of why a mod would be caught. Like, what mod could I have installed that could possibly be messing with the Wandering Trader? I don't think there are any. And, okay, entity model features, entity texture features. Could be one of those. Those are like the only things it could be. Or more hitboxes, but I don't know why more hitboxes would be messing with Wandering Trader hitboxes. The only reason that mod is in here is because the Fossils and Archaeology team uses it for the dinosaur hitboxes. I don't know. It's weird. Weird that that's going on with that Wandering Trader. I'm keeping him in the corner of my eye. He's gone. Ah, there he is. That was a little bit comedic. Keeping an eye on him. I'm keeping an eye on him, and then he just disappeared. Beautiful. I think I made the joke less funny by trying to reenact it, but that's okay. That is okay. I might be going a little bit crazy. It is after, I think it's after 11 at night at this point. No one should stay up this late. Asterisks. There's like a bunch of reasons that someone would stay up this late and be fine. But if you are one of my hypothetical younger viewers that I talked about earlier, don't stay up this late. Don't do it. Listen to your parents when they say you should go to sleep sooner. Don't stay up till midnight. Don't do it. Alright. Anyway. There we go. Are you fixed now? No. No, you're not. Yeah, that's really messed up. That's connected to you? That's connected to you. You're fine. It's you. You have no problem. Strength 1, strength 4. It's the strong llama that's breaking the fabric of reality. Of course it is. I also noticed earlier, and you might have noticed it in the chat, I checked the tick speeds. Because I felt like the day-night cycle was going weirdly quick when I logged in. 3 is the default Minecraft tick speed. And I don't actually... Does tick speed affect the day-night cycle? I don't know off the top of my head. I'm sure that's Minecraft trivia that I have somewhere in my brain. But apparently it's not in the part of my brain that gets used when I'm recording. Now, that's the part of the brain that does all the rambling. That's the one that comes out when I record. It's the one that talks about storytelling and whatnot, you know. So yeah, this enclosure currently does not have a way for the guests to see the Mosasaurus. That will be a later me problem, as I said earlier, but we'll probably, what I'll do is I'll take one of the walls and I'll replace it with glass. Or we could do something kind of similar to what they did in the Jurassic World movie, where we have a bleacher. And we could even create like a feeding system that hangs out over that. I don't know. You know what? I don't have an editing system right now. The editing system that I was using before sort of had some weird stuff happen after an update, and I don't use it anymore. I'm in the process of switching to a new editing software, but I'm gonna have to learn it, obviously, and all that sort of stuff. Not that any of that matters. With how late it is, I don't really have time to edit this video. So however long this is, we're at 2 hours. However long this is, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I genuinely apologize for how long this video is. I'm not trying to make a joke there or anything. I'm sorry, it's so long. I joke about how I make really long videos all the time with my friends and family. It's like, oh, he finally did it. He made a reasonably length video at 40 minutes. Or, I think actually I made this joke at a 30-minute length video. And I decided to check when the last time I had released a video that was 30 minutes wasn't. It had been like a year. I just keep making long videos because my editing style is more relaxed like this. But like how I record, that's sort of the older style of Minecraft gameplay, where I'm just doing things and talking. I edit in a very similar way. As I was explaining earlier, there's not really flashy cuts or anything. Sometimes I will edit. Even then, even if I have like a bunch of cuts, it's in a more older style where either I am highlighting jokes I'm making, topics that I'm talking about, or the progress that I'm making. And you can see that editing style come out a lot more when I play Minecraft maps. Usually I'll edit around what I'm talking about between different attempts, or the jokes that I'm making, and this is especially prevalent whenever I have to do parkour, because I'm really bad at parkour, so we'll have a lot of attempts. And sometimes for a lot of those attempts, either I'm focusing so I'm not saying something, or I'm getting a bit frustrated so I'm talking a bit less. So then I will mainly be cutting to my successes, or moments when I'm making it further, whenever I say something important, or something that's connected to the thing that I'm like my topic that I'm choosing to talk about, or any of the jokes that I'm making. Alright, now to find out if I got all of these by breaking them all. Ha! There we go. And no flowing water? No flowing water. So all I gotta do is patch up that last little bit and then clear out all of the spare scaffolding. This was a great way to do it, though. This is gonna make doing the aquatic enclosures a lot more bearable by using the scaffolding. Okay, we're good, we're good. Okay. No flowing water. So we should be able to just fill this in and have no problems then. Then we clear this all away, and we get our Mosasaurus, like, 2 hours into the video. Sorry. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Normally a video hits this length, and I know I have to edit it, but because this video comes out so soon, and I need to sleep, like at all, that's not really an option. Plus, as I mentioned, don't really have a editing software right now that I can use. So, you know, we'll have to make do. You know, why am I doing this way? I'm gonna have to break all this down and collect all of it. Take the plunge. Get this all done. Rip off the band-aid, and then I still have to do the cave, but that's fine. Is all the scaffolding gonna float up? Because if it does, that would be really convenient, and I could just wait for it all to float up. There we go. I think that's all the scaffolding blocks broken. Is it all floating up, or is some of it staying down? I'm thinking some of it might be staying. This I am gonna need 2 buckets for this next part. No, that wasn't what I meant to do. There we go. Did I not fix it? Or was this a different one? Still, the scaffolding is a really good way to do the water enclosures, because it means that I don't need to do it all in the water, and I don't need to do it all well, and then place in a layer, and then remove it, because I can just do it all at once with the scaffolding. And maybe, arguably, I should have had more scaffolding at the start and done it all at once with a proper framework underneath. But this did end up working fine. I think that just would have been a little bit quicker if I did it that way. And that speed there is only really a concern because this is a fairly large enclosure. Because Mosasaurs are like 5 meters long, I think, off the top of my head. That can't be right. Can it? No. It's closer to 20. Is it? I forget. We'll have to look at the Dinopedia. The Dinopedia usually says. The Dinopedia usually tells me what I need to know. Am I missing any items? Nope, don't know how I ended up with a stack or 3 stacks in 41. That doesn't really make any sense, but that's fine. Okay. This is cool. This idea here. If I could make that a safe viewing thing, like if the Mosasaurus couldn't get out of that and eat us, I would make that the glass for the enclosure. Like, I would make that the window. That would be super unsafe, though. So we're not going to do that. What we're going to do is we're going to make this enclosure a little bit secure. The general idea is, not would this be secure in Minecraft, would it be secure in real life? People don't normally jump up full meter blocks in Minecraft, so I'm generally willing to get away with an enclosure that from the outside you could feasibly walk into. The main thing is that the inside needs to contain our creature, and the outside needs to prevent a reasonable person who is not trying to get eaten by a dinosaur from getting eaten by a dinosaur. Because if people don't want to get eaten by a dinosaur, we shouldn't force them to. That's rude. Don't do that. Let people choose if they want to get eaten by dinosaurs. Come on. I mean, I think most people are going to choose no, I don't want to get eaten by a dinosaur, but that's their choice, you know? They can choose to not want to be eaten by a dinosaur. That is perfectly okay. I stand by that decision. I think most people should avoid getting eaten by dinosaurs. But push comes to shove, you know. If I'm given the option between... I don't even know what the options would have to be for me to pick getting eaten by a dinosaur, but I am telling you that if 2 options were presented to me that were of roughly equal weight, I would pick getting eaten by a dinosaur. Arguably, the death via dinosaur could be, like, a solid chunk worse than the other death. But as long as I got to live most of my life, or the alternative is a similar amount of my life, I'm picking the dinosaur, you know? It's like, if my options are get eaten by a pack of wolves, or eaten by a dinosaur, or, like, in some way I die to a dinosaur, obviously I'm picking the dinosaur, but if my options are die of old age, and, like, live 90 years or whatever, versus get eaten by a dinosaur tomorrow, I'm gonna have to pick the full life, you know? That feels worthwhile. Getting to live my full life feels like something I would like to do. But that's really, I think that's the main thing there, is that if it was a roughly equal amount of time, I'm probably gonna pick the dinosaur. If my options are die by old age at the age of 90, or die by dinosaur at the age of 90, you know what? Either way, I made it to 90. Let's go with the dinosaur. I think to be fair though, In that situation, most people probably pick the dinosaur. If you're getting your full life, might as well go out swinging. No, I mean, I'm not a philosopher on death. And I'm not gonna die by a dinosaur. So, this conversation is all in good fun. If you propose a would you rather to me in the comments that is option 1 at this age or death by dinosaur at this age, we can really start narrowing down where I'm fine with death by dinosaur. Because I will happily play along and answer that. It's all in good fun. We're here for fun. And eccentricities, in my case. I'm a very eccentric man who has lost all of my items in a mosasaur enclosure, so I'm gonna get them all back before we get the mosasaur in here, because this mosasaur is so gonna try to eat me. I know it. You know it. We all know it. We saw this last time I got a mosasaur in the old world. They try to eat me. They're not the biggest fan. We never even figured out the sex of the dinosaur the mosasaur last time. We just ended up declaring them non-binary and never named them. Also, they escaped more than once. Like, we started with 2, then we had 1. They kept getting out. Alright. We're good. We're good. Let's start with the Nautilus eggs. Okay. You are going to be food. I want you to know that. You deserve to know. Hello, mosasaur. Oh, you're cute. Are you gonna immediately try to eat me? Maybe I'm fine. Maybe we're fine now. Maybe you're chill. You're chill! You're chill! I'm gonna drown. I mean, not pressingly. We have a female mosasaur who needs a name. Max population is 15. How big do you get? 17 meters. I was close. That is, to be fair, the largest species. Okay, where are you? Oh, you're swimming. They really improved all the swimming when they switched over to the newest version. Reduced drag. It suffered from poor binocular vision as well, which meant it likely lived near the ocean surface where there was more light and less pressure instead of deeper waters. This isn't too deep. Undisputed King of the Seas. Apex Predator. I'm drowning. Where is she? Is she in the cave? No, she's not. Hi. You might never go in that cave. Huh. Armed, dangerous, piscivore, carnivore, Cretaceous period. There we go, look at that. We got ourselves a mosasaur. She's beautiful and adorable and whatnot. And oh, she went into that cave that I said she might not ever go in. I guess they haven't put water depth into the game code yet. I don't know if they'll ever do that. I don't know if they're like that worried about accuracy. I think that wandering trader disappeared finally. That guy was creepy. It was really weird. Is she down in that cave? I want to do the outro with her, but if she's down in this cave, I don't know if we can. I don't see her. She's not in the cave. Oh, she's over here. Trying to eat this Nautilus. Hey, if you can eat ammonites, you should be able to bite through that shell. Come on. I guess you're a baby. Okay. You want to help me do this outro? I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope you have an amazing day. And goodbye.